Should we come up?
What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Miami. Chris Chavez here with Anderson Emerald, Aisha Protlier, and Eric Jenkins, and we are done with day one of Grand Slam track here at the Anson Sports Complex, and it was absolutely electric from start to finish. We get to open up with an American record, and then from there, we just thrilling race after race. Let's go around. I guess, Anderson, what was your favorite part of the day?
Oh, my God. I mean, we opened with an American record, but I will say I feel like coming off of Kingston, I felt the energy here.
Yes.
Even though the stadium is, like, smaller, I felt like this energy was on point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Miramar really showed up for the day one of Slam.
Aisha?
The athletes are still so happy. Highlight of the day. Like, everyone comes through. Eric and I got to be in the creator zone today, which is a new place for us.
We need to hear about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
We will hear about that. But all the athletes coming through are just so happy to be here, and that's what we love to see.
It did, like, to piggyback off what Anderson was saying, it just felt a bit more dialed in this meet than Kingston. Obviously, that helps when all the performances across the board were just spectacular. It felt like everyone was just performing a lot better, but like the energy was really good. Felt like just more of a fun meet.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. It's like the first one, you just got to get it in the books. You take a lot of lessons from it, and then you dial in on the areas that were for improvement. And I think that they've done that so far. The concept works. Everyone's buying into it. Everyone is learning in the process as well. Fans are learning how the scoring system works. Athletes are learning just the importance of certain races and elements of how to attack each one of the days. So, yeah, I mean, Grand Slam track, the product is getting better each time out. And so, yeah, first off, I guess let's address the fact that you guys had to take over doing race breakdowns.
We got to talk about this.
How'd it go?
Honestly, we were a little stressed, but we crushed it, I think. I don't know.
Brutal out there.
Eric's like, let's be real.
Let me
Let's
run
be
it
real.
back. Eric was like, I don't know how we're going to be able to do this.
I
Josh-
heard what you guys said on the morning show, by the way.
Yeah, and I stand by everything I said, Chris. You screwed us.
So one little quick tidbit is a new thing we'll be doing, because we do want to test people's appetite for a potential podcast with Eric and Aisha. They've been doing Good Morning Track and Field. So today there was one of those. It was at like noon, so I don't know about the good morning part, but West Coast.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. But it was fun to hear you guys yapping by the pool, and then at the very end, I just catch a bunch of strays because I decided to go off and be on TV, and you guys had to do a little bit extra work.
And also, congratulations. We're all very happy for you.
By the way,
That was like the
Chris
first thing.
is in hair and makeup. All of us
I am.
now look like trash standing next to Chris. But, you know, we're going to start collective bargaining or something.
A labor union?
Or a labor union. Because
Yeah, we're unioning up. Okay?
Head of HR is calling for
Head of
me.
HR is like,
Yeah.
we got issues. We're working twice as hard. But anyway, we spent some time in the creator zone. We got to do the post-race breakdowns. And Max, like, you guys got that, right? And Eric and I were like, yeah, sure. We walk away. We decide maybe we don't got this. Like, we're not exactly, like, we're not journalists. We're not creators. We're just two people that you hand a mic and let us go. But I think it turned out great. Eric just snapped into a new persona that I've never
Really?
seen. He was great.
She's never seen this persona. I had to. So here's how it went down. We did Josh. We got Josh Kerr.
Who was fired up?
He was fired up. Like, that was an easy one, right? Like, honestly, like that was the race day for me. The men's 15, fantastic, easy. Like, forget about it.
You're talking with your boys. You're feeling good.
Yeah. Then we the next person we got was Jereem Richards, who and when I say did not even didn't look my direction once. Until he was sitting basically in Aisha's lap, and Aisha was talking to him, and then I was like, should I go? And then I said something, and he literally like looked at me like, what are you talking for? And I was like, I don't know, that didn't go well. But then I rebounded strong. with Andrew Cochran, but I think too strong. I was like cutting him off. I was like I'd ask a question, he started answering, I'm like, yeah, I'm going on to the next question. I was like, cut him off.
Yeah.
You're just like Grand Slam, the first go around. You learn a lot of lessons.
You learn a lot of lessons in the creator zone. I do think next time I will learn from this. I will, it's a learning experience. I'll take the lessons into the next slam. But yeah, no. Overall, there are ups and downs in the zone, but overall, I had a good day.
There we go.
Yeah.
And mixed zone, you rocked it.
Yeah, I was holding it down. Me and Paul, we were catching them before, Aisha and Eric had to get them, but it was smooth. It was smooth. Nothing too crazy out there.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into talking about some of these races. So, as we said, it starts off with Masai Russell just
Like
getting
out
the benefit
gate.
of a 2.0 wind. Perfect. Just what they wanted. Jinx, you owe me an Olipop. And then after that, so it was 12:17. Second fastest all time. For a second, I was
Yes.
like, what's the world record?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
to remind myself, Toby Amasan, 2022 World Championships, rocked it. But yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. And you can't even overlook Tia Jones, who runs the third fastest
all time.
all time.
Both under the previous American record
Yeah.
of 12:20 with who Kenny Harrison previously held. This was to start off Miami like this was absolutely perfect. Again, perfect win. Masai Russell, Olympic champion. She didn't do very well in Kingston. Finished like down in the middle of the pack. She kind of got her lick back, getting and it was close. Like it was a super close race. And we'll probably talk about it throughout the night, but a lot of the races were very, very close, from the sprints all the way up to some of the distance races. So this was a good one to kind of start the day.
So this is like this is one of those races that the meet's going to be well when it sets the tone right off the gates. American record. Like we were sitting here watching. I genuinely wasn't ready. I was like, I need a little
Some people were
bit of
still
a
looking for
warm
their
up.
seats.
Yeah, I was like, American record. Like right out of the gates like that. You're like, okay, here we go. Like they're off.
Yeah.
And that's contagious. When you're an athlete and you arrive to the warm-up area and you hear that an American record was run from the jump, like you game up for that. Like
Yeah.
you hear something like that and you're like, oh, the track is fast tonight.
Yeah.
And it puts you in a different frame of mind. And I think we saw that set the tone for the rest of the meet.
Rest of the day, yeah.
For Masai, I mean, this is just, she's building confidence each time out, right?
Yeah.
Like, heavy is the head that wears the crown because, like, you're the Olympic champion and you got a massive target on your back. And the thing about the 100 hurdles is that it's a toss-up every single time because of the
100%.
depth of talent. But I do think, based off of indoor performances, based off of something like today, when Masai is on, she's the favorite. And
Yeah.
so I think I might start going into races thinking Masai Russell is the favorite and who's going to get second.
Who's going to say, I'm not mad at that. Like you said, the event is extremely competitive where everyone goes back and forth and you have to be on your toes every single time. But Masai is the Olympic champion. She proved today why she should not be slept on, regardless if she has a bad race. She can come to the next one and not do as well, but you cannot count her out from a good performance and potentially getting the win.
And she's got to follow this up now with a flat 100, which she's been so excited
Yeah.
about. And I think, like, clean slate, forget what happened in Kingston because of the wind. I do think that she has 100-meter prowess in her legs.
Yeah, she does. And we saw her, I think it was at Texas Relay. She ran, it was a little bit windy, but she ran a fast 100. These other women, no one in this field is a true 100-meter runner.
No.
So everyone is coming in almost with a clean slate of like, okay, I didn't do well today, or I did do well today, but I still have to show up, tomorrow to make sure I can perform.
I want to see Tia Jones run a better 100 as well.
The thing is interesting for Tia, her hurdle time that she ran was actually faster than the 100 time she ran at Kingston.
No way.
Yeah. So I don't know what that.
Oh, the wind.
True. But I mean, that she knows that she doesn't want to finish down in the pack again in the 100, so she wants to show up and actually perform.
But the X factor there is that Kerr Nugent was third today.
Third. If
And
she wins the hurdles, that means that if she wins the 100, that means Masai and Tia have to finish high up to be able to still get that 100K. So
there's some intrigue in this group for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, so moving into the next race after that, and it's so easy to get excited for the 1500. Especially with this one in particular, like as we kind of teed up in our preview, it's like the fields were so fascinating. Kudos to Kyle, I guess, for like assembling it. He's like, we're gonna have some guys with some really good momentum, and so I think everyone came into this one looking at Timothy Cheruiyot because and you guys were talking about this on your show, where it's like you looked at him, he's like, oh, so glad Tim's here because he's going to be the one to like drag it out from the front. And then what do we see? First lap was like 75, and then it's a clear jog fest, and no one wanted to take it, and it had to be Yared, I think, to just get into the front and press a little bit.
When did Yared? I think he hit it. I think
was it 60 or 75?
It was 60.
Okay,
60.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking about
First
my
lap
own
was 60.
Honestly,
First lap was 60.
this was like the perfect race in my opinion. Like in terms of like excitement and like when you want to watch a competitive 1500, like this is in my opinion the perfect type of race to watch. It wasn't slow, right? At 3:34, Yared pulled from the front a bit, but again, he pulled, but he didn't pull enough that to drop anybody. Everybody's there at the bell. It's bunched up. You got guys like Marco, right?
Who was in it?
Who's not just in it. It's 300 to go. He's now he's pushing the lead.
Yeah.
Just a perfect race, and you were able to see these 1500 guys kind of get back, a little bit. They didn't perform the way they wanted to in Kingston, and to see like the podium from Paris go 1, 2, it was 1, 2, 3. To see Josh Kerr take the win after coming last in the 800, a month before. It was just such an exciting race.
And something that we learned in the post-race breakdown from Josh is how aware these 1500-meter guys are with timing their kick. He said he could hear Marco breathing and was thinking like, oh, brother, like here you might have gone too hard too soon, and clocking those moments, that intelligence as you're racing, like, all right, this guy's cooked. Like I've got, like I don't need to fight to get into position because he's gonna fade.
Well, that's fascinating because like I saw Marco at the hotel this morning, and just to kind of like collect as much info as I can to drop on the broadcast, I was like, Marco, all right, like tell me, like if it goes slow, like how do you fit into this whole thing? And he was like, I could drop a 52 on the last lap. And I was like, okay. And so for part of this race, I was just watching. I was like, oh, all right, like this is playing into his favor. But he just did not have that final gear. Like the 1500 is still a learning curve for Marco. Just thrilled with just how Josh executed this one.
Yeah.
There's just been so much criticism for the guy, and like rightfully so. I mean, he's a very outspoken, brash, competitor, and that's what makes him so great. Like this is what we love about sports, is that you love him or you hate him, but you're still gonna watch. And with Josh, it's like he's opened himself up to criticism where, people are saying he got last in the 800, he's done, he's toast. They're taking him out of the conversation for Tokyo. I mean, today he just reminded everyone, he's like, I'm Josh Kerr. I'm the reigning world champion, and it was emotional for him at the finish line.
Oh yeah, you see him come through the line and just he's fired up, goes right to the crowd. We talked to him afterwards. He said he had like 20 family members and friends here. Like this was a really big win for him, and you could just feel how excited he was. And it's just you talk a lot about, you get 12 points going into that 800. It's just now it's a different race, and we said how does getting the win here. Now you go into that 8. Is it going to be, do you think it's going to go exact? You think Marco's going to go and hammer? And he's like, yeah, it's going to be.
Marco said it. He's like, I'm going to do that again. Peter Bull's like, I'm going to sit behind him. And I think that the interesting part is, like, we kind of forget is the people around Josh, right? Like, when he's training, he's got Brandon Miller in his training camp. He's learned from so many experienced 800-meter guys in his career that I think we didn't see, just sort of like what he's picked up from all of them.
Oh, for sure. Like this is a sport where it's like, what have you done for me lately? So it's like he comes in, he runs 150, and he's at the back of this last race, and everyone writes Josh off, and it's like, no, he's, in my opinion, was the most experienced 800 guys of the 15 guy. Like he's run a whole lot of really, really good 800s. So and like we talked about before, the more these guys race, each time you see them, they're going to get better and better. It's going to be a different story come the 800.
One last point I want to make on this 1500 is Yared has now put together back-to-back runner-up finishes in the 1500 in Kingston and here. He's beaten Cole in that process. Cole didn't come away with the win here. Like, we're not ready to hit the panic button, but if you're Yared, like, these are all good points for him.
Very good points. And the confidence and the momentum matters. Learning to win is probably the most valuable skill you can have in track and field. Running fast times are great, but those little victories that you have over your competitors really make a difference when you're lining up for, say, a USA Championship or a World Championship happening at the end of the season. Those little wins bolster your confidence and give you a lot of forward momentum for the rest of the year.
All right, let's shift gears over to the next event. Mac is saying Ketabile Hangura could win the whole thing. He was in fourth today. But, yeah, I mean, he's got good 800-meter speed as well. So watch out for him, and everyone's going to learn how to...
He hasn't lost an 800 yet.
He's 5 for 5.
5 for 5.
So, I mean, everyone's going to have to learn how to say Ketabile like I did. All right, men's 400 hurdles. Alison Dos Santos once again came out on top with 12 points. But I think the interesting thing to watch from this one is the fact that Chris Robinson finished second.
And he is the world leader in the 400. The thing I'm looking for, because Alison Dos Santos had a massive lead. I think he finished almost a full second ahead. So Chris Robinson, he can win the whole thing, but that tiebreaker will be interesting if Alison is in second. So that's going to be something interesting to watch. But I do like the fact that Chris Robinson, he was invited back as a challenger coming off the performance he had last time. And he probably knew, being on one of the inside lanes, I need to perform, as best as possible to make sure I'm in a good position here.
He might back channel his way to being like 3/4 of a racer, because like if he wins this slam, then he probably gets invited to Philly, and I mean, he's stacking up these performances that could prove like, hey, I'm worthy to be part of this league as a racer next year. But speaking of one of the racers who really made this race and had an aggressive approach, it was Caleb Dean, who was leading up until hurdle 8, clips it, falls, and the race fell apart for him there. But what Kyle was kind of saying on the preview show was just sort of like, when Caleb Dean is still super young and he's learning, I think today was a test of like, how hard can I attack the 400 hurdles, and maybe it's going to fall apart in the process, and maybe this is a stage that it's very lucrative and the prize money's great, and I'm going to risk it because like I get the chance to do this against the best.
That's the thing. I feel like Caleb feels like he is one of the best, and he's proven himself in different capacities, whether it's like time, NCAAs, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like he's pushing to prove I deserve to win. I can beat all these guys. Now, of course, it's coming in the form of hitting hurdles. It's coming in the form of like not performing to his best. But I feel like he has that competitive mindset where he wants to be the best, and he's putting himself in those positions, but it's risky.
I mean, one of these days it's going to stick.
It's going to stick, and when it sticks, he was leading off hurdle 8 or whatever.
8 out of 10 so far.
Yeah. So
I really love this, because you see a lot of athletes like protect their ego, protect what they know how to do, stay in their lane. And I think this is such a brave strategy that like you're willing to go into the unknown and say there's not just one way to win, there's not just one way to be successful. This is like a sports psychology lesson that, look, there are so many avenues, there's so many pathways to success, and I don't have the fear that I'll try these out, and I might, break into a different stratosphere by being bold and trying something totally new.
So you think Dos Santos and Robinson, that's the 400?
I think that's the group right now. That those two are going to be fighting it out. I think that Robinson is in a good position to take the 4, but it's that gap. He has to run fast enough ahead of Dos Santos,
which it's hard in a 400.
It's going to be hard. And like Dos Santos, he's run 44, I think 6. So he has a capability to run fast. So we'll see.
All right, let's move on over to the women's long distance group here. Agnes and Gedich clogs a 14:25 for the win. But I was watching this race, and there was a sequence where she throws in a 65-second lap, a 68, a 65, and she was putting the hurt on Medina Issa, who was in second place. And the whole entire time I'm watching this, and I'm like, this is exactly what you did in Kingston, and it didn't work out. Why are you doing it again? And especially when the pace starts to lag and she slows down, then she's doing the same exact thing. She's asking Medina Issa to help her up in the front, and she's not getting the help. Why should I help when you just put the hurt on my legs? And I'm like, wow, she's blowing it. Like, she's going to run fast, but like the dumbest way to run fast and lose the race. And then in the final 100 meters, she makes me kind of like preserve that criticism that I was so ready to rip into like at that desk, because she ended up winning the race. And great fight by Medina Issa right there at the very end. But what a wacky way to run that 5K by Agnes and Gedich.
Love it. I love it. I love it. It's like, okay, it's really difficult to be out there and leading. And no, is it the smartest thing to do? Probably not. Are there other ways to win? I'm sure. But you gotta like I was jumping up and down. I was so excited to see her win because she led every step of the way in Kingston, both 3K and 5K, leading the whole race today. It's like, all right, finally. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Hats off.
This was, I'm with you. It was such an exciting race. That last 100 meters, like everybody was out of their seats. It was fantastic. Came right down to the wire. You could see just how excited she was to come away with the win. Like, so she like really, really she was emotional coming to that line. I mean, I was so happy for her. It's fun because, like we talked about on the morning show, the women push it. Like it's not. It is honest right from the gun. It was strung out. There was packs, right? They broke away in like 800 meters, right? And it made the rest of all the women behind them. They're hurting right away. Like you see it at like really talented athletes like Elise Cranny off the back.
15-15 last place.
Like last place. 15 like that's incredible. That's last place and by a long, she's off the back. I thought it was such an exciting race. And yeah, it was I didn't know she was doing she was trying to get
She was signaling,
again.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, you're not getting help. You're running 14:20. Like what am I supposed to do with the help? I'm just gonna hit the front, slow it way down. It was incredibly exciting. To have that type of last 100 after it was that fast throughout the whole race. Oh man, it's like what more? It was incredibly, incredibly fun.
If she wouldn't have come away with the win, she would have been very, very pissed.
But if she didn't come away with the win, she's gonna have to get a little bit of a different strategy.
100%. I wonder if she's gonna do it in the 3K.
You bet your ass she's gonna do
She
it.
is.
But hey, I mean that's the confidence that comes after running a world record last weekend in the 10K.
Like she just knows how to push herself. Knows how to break these other athletes. And when you have this now she's got the win, right? And it's like you got to give it to her for sticking to her guns. I mean, like, look, I know that I can break these athletes, and I know that. Look, maybe I didn't have the finish in Kingston, but I still ran really well, and I do believe that I can pull it off, and she did it, and it was really fun to see that. Like their sprint at the perfect form, like true textbook. How you would want a distance athlete to sprint at the end of a hard race. It was awesome.
There's still time between now and the U.S. Championships, but I will admit that I am a little concerned right now for Elise Cranny, and just maybe she's training really hard and I thought that the result would be a little bit better this time around without the 10K in her legs, but I'm hoping for a better result, come the 3K this time around.
I'm with you, but it's also it's tough in these positions because it's like, okay, this is a 14:20 race in the front. You get off the line, and if you're Elise, you're like, okay, am I gonna run 14:20?
When the 65 was thrown in, she ran 68.
Yeah,
and it's that's where maybe it stung you a little too much.
And again, these are small fields, right? It's 8 people out there. Yeah. You don't.
There's nowhere to hide.
There's nowhere to hide. There's not people that are not going with the leaders, and you've got bodies to run with, people to help try to pull you along. You're out there solo. Because 15-15, and
it's a good time.
It's a good time. So it's that just shows you how the quality of these fields, especially in these women's races that are fast. They're not sit and kick races; they're hard, and so it's just going to have to be getting your head wrapped around that and being okay. Being prepared for that and trying to navigate that the best way you can.
I think it's also interesting that there aren't other American racers. It's just Elise, and it's different than the men's 1500 where all of the top Americans, almost all of the top Americans are racing. She has to be in a big training block preparing for USA's because her competitors are not doing what she's doing. Yeah. So I hope that there is a bit of training strategy,
working around these races, working through these races, because she knows that in a few months she needs to be ready to make the team. Yeah. All right. So that was the women's long distance group. Then we go back to the sprints where Jereem Richards wins the long sprints 200 in 1986.
This was good. And it was a close race.
With Alex Ogando, who
yeah.
tied his personal best and Dominican national record in second place. Was in 1986 as well.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been closer.
Like literally to the line.
Yeah.
And I love this because Ogando was in lane 3, Jereem Richards was in lane 6, and Jereem in Kingston, he lost the 200 to Matthew Hudson Smith, and he's a 200 runner, or at least he straddles both 200, 400. He has a bronze medal from 2017 in 200. Stepped up to the 4, and now he's amongst this group. He kind of proved that like I'm a true double threat. Like this is my event group. And also, this is the fastest time he's run. He hasn't run sub 20, I don't think, since like 2022 or 23. So it's been a while, and he was amped up after this race.
He revealed on the broadcast that he was been dealing with the flu or some sort of sickness in Kingston. But it's like you never want to say that in the immediate aftermath. That there's an edge. But then today, he's like, I knew the fitness was there, and so today really showed that. But that's kind of like in devising these fields. That was the point of like putting these 200 guys in, because now you've got a lot of pressure on the 400 guys.
Yeah.
Jereem Richards crosses over into both of those groups. Like he's in a good spot. I also look at Masai Russell, who finished third in this one in a personal best. Like
personal best, 20.2. He really showed up. I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of surprised, like seeing him kind of like really close up front, in third place coming down the home straight. He's one now going into the 400, where if he's in this kind of form, he could really do some damage. And maybe, he finished third, so it's going to be tough for someone like Jereem to finish farther back if he's in good form as well. But Salwa Eid could take the win in the 4, and that sets him up to finish a little bit higher overall.
From my understanding, I think the word out of the Salwa Eid camp for Kingston was that he was dealing with like a little bit of an injury, but like with the month, like he's been able to get back to form. Today he showed it.
And what's interesting is you have Steven Gardner. He's coming in. He came in as a new racer. He finished 4th place here. He was actually mentioning that he was dealing with a head cold over the past couple weeks, but still ran decently well. But Matthew Hudson Smith, he won the 100K last time, but he finished down the pack
way
here
back in
in
this
7th.
one.
Hopefully he's, healthy, because I figured he would have been a lot. He won the 200 last time in Kingston, so we'll see how things transpire in the 400 after that.
For Matthew Hudson Smith, like he really wants to assert himself in the 400.
Yeah.
And like it's not going to be easy. Who knows how your body's coming off of a performance like this? But we'll just have to wait and see, because that 400 now, it's like, all right, the 200 guys had their moment. The 400 guys about to really show up.
They're going to show up, yeah. And again, Jereem Richards, he's in a good position, having won the 200. Now he's a lot more comfortable going into the 4. If he's in great form, he could potentially win. Even if he finishes 2nd place, he can come away with the 100K.
Yeah, I think this league and this format, when they sign all of the racers, I looked at someone like Jereem. I was like, this guy's going to get paid.
This is his format. He literally said in Kingston that was the most he got paid in a weekend, and he finished like 3rd place overall. So might be getting more this weekend.
All right, Anderson, we'll stay with you on this one, because then after that we had the short sprints,
women's
100, and Melissa Jefferson winning 10:75, but a little bit windy.
Yeah, she said that she looked at the clock and she saw the time. She was like, wind, and it was it was a little bit windy, but it was not too much. It was like 2.4.
Yeah.
So this was big, because we spoke about it in the preview. You had Favor Ophelia, you had Tamari Davis, you had all these women who were coming in very, very strong in terms of like the competitors for this group. But she cemented herself again here. She really did.
I mean, when you're making winning a habit, that's a good thing. And then on top of that, I mean, to know that your body can go that fast, like, is a plus. With Melissa in particular, I think I said it when we had her on like the post-race show up there. It was that like I said, listen, now you're 3 for 3. And on the Grand Slam stage, like, this is a big stage. This thing's being broadcast in over 190 countries. Like, the spotlight has probably never been brighter for her during the regular season outside of like the Olympics. That like you might like, are you feeling that? Like, the spotlight is good. You're gonna become a star by the end of this if you keep this up. And so Melissa's in a great spot. Like, she's really, I think, gonna be in people's minds come the championship season. But then after that, like, if you look through the rest of the standings, we were looking for a PR out of Gabby Thomas, and so like she was under, 11 seconds, but maybe not as far up in the standings as she had wanted.
4th place overall behind Melissa, Tamari, and Favor. So, and she was not happy.
Yeah.
She didn't look too happy in the mixed zone. She wanted to finish up a little higher, and I think essentially it complicates it going into the 200. If Gabby wins the 2, she'll need Melissa and Tamari to finish significantly lower. And you're like, Melissa is on fire right now.
Yeah.
Tamari also ran 10.7 despite it being a little bit windy. Like, it's tough for Gabby in terms of getting as high as she might have wanted to.
Can you set this up as just how much of a threat is Tamari in the 200 though?
Tamari is a very, very strong. She's essentially a double threat, in my opinion, where she made the 2023 team in the 100, but coming out of high school, she's one of the few athletes who went straight pro out of high school. She's run like 22.1 in the 200, and she's very, very capable there as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Tamari actually finishes ahead of Melissa in the 200 tomorrow. Maybe Gabby wins, but also you have Favor. So it's a very complicated kind of situation where it's going to get mixed up in the two.
Yeah, I mean, the women's 200 in America right now is like one of the most crowded pictures.
It's crazy.
Because obviously you got Gabby, and like she's the queen. But then
Gabby.
after that, Brittany Brown
We didn't
has
even
an
talk about
Olympic
Brittany,
medal.
who was in the mix here, but
She was a little further back. This is her opener.
But yeah, it's like her opener. She could be dangerous. You have
Mackenzie Long,
Mackenzie
who's
Long.
hasn't been at the slams, but like has been running up in Florida. Now you have Anavia Battle crushing it to open the season.
Good in the Diamond League. Kayla White was in this field, and she made the team in 2023 in the 200. So
How many spots do we get? Only
You got
three
spots. No one's
Yeah.
a defending champ, so
Not yet.
Yeah,
Not yet. You heard that.
It was a good race. Good race.
All right, so that was the short sprints 100. Then we go on over to the men's long distance 3K, where we thought that Grant Fisher was going to pull another one, just another robbery on these guys. As soon as the race went off, like it was a jog fest, which we kind of also love. Like free marketing idea that's been out there. I think Matt came up with this one where we need Grand Slam to partner with like a fast food company that would just be like, hey, if the race is this slow, or if they hit this slow of a lap, like free hot dogs for everybody or something like that, to really get the crowd incentivized about a slow race, because that's what we had on our hands for a lot of it. And I kept watching. I was like, oh, Grant's gonna do it again. But with 800 meters to go, it was Sam Atkin who goes up right to the front, guns a-blazing. On the broadcast call, Steve Cram was a little case, and I was like, that's really harsh. And then after that, they reel him in, and it's George Mills up in the front. And then at the bell, it's George Mills, Grant Fisher, and they're going at it. Andrew Coskren comes up on Grant's right, with less than 100 meters to go. Kind of hits Grant in a blind spot, or maybe his attention was on George, who was very pissed off at the very end at the end of that race. But Coskren comes out with the win, Grant second, and yeah, I mean maybe Grant just left it a little too late against sub 350 milers. We said that on the preview pod.
We did. I think you were pretty bullish on Coskren. Did you call it? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
I didn't. I was completely wrong. I thought there's no way that these guys, that no matter how you slice it, Grant's going to win. So I was wrong. Also, Andrew Coskren ran the last lap on the outside edge of lane 1, almost lane 2. Like if you watch the last lap, like he ran so much extra distance and like still came away with a win. So I eat my words. The milers came through today and crushed it.
I love this for Coskren because like he didn't have the ending to his indoor season that he'd wanted. He was on fire at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix, and then didn't have the best results at Euros or at Worlds, and now it's like, all right, no, let's remember this guy for sure, and that he's a kicker. Now with Grant, how would you have done this differently?
I mean, it's tough because, like, if Grant won this and he just barely lost it.
Yeah, just barely.
You're gonna do the exact same thing again,
yeah.
right? Like it's like okay. But now that he did lose it, he's pissed. Okay, like there's no way that Grant isn't very upset right now losing a race like that.
It's like I have to race the next one.
He's gonna at least be in the front, pushing it a bit. Like he doesn't need to be making a big dramatic like Atkins. That was a bit. Gebrouet was replaced, and Sam Atkins did exactly what Gebrouet would have done. A bit too dramatic of a move, a bit too far out.
What would Gebrouet do?
He strung it out just enough for the guys to have someone to chase down, right?
No one took that move seriously, which is
you wouldn't.
Well, because it's not a gentle pulling along till all of a sudden you're in deep water and the legs are gone, right? It's a burst, and then you are trying to maintain. You're not going to maintain it, so these guys are eventually just going to reel you in.
Adkin looked back as soon as he did it. He's like, no one's doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
So it's like, I think Grant isn't going to necessarily like do it. These races, like we said, the guys are running slow in these long distance races. Of course, like, look, they're gonna run slow, and the 5K is gonna be slow. Okay, but I do think a guy like Grant is strong. He's stronger than these guys. So, and it's like if you're gonna leave, they were out in like 4:40 plus for the mile.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that in a 3K, you're gonna have guys bunched up, and it's just more guys in the mix with a lap to go. I do think you'll see a little bit different tactics, maybe 800 out, a K out. He's not gonna lay it all on the line, but he's gonna pick it up just a bit, enough to take the real sting out of these guys' legs. But this was fun. This was a really fun race.
It was fun.
It's great to see Grant lose. Like I'm a big Grant guy. Want the best for him, but it's fun to mix it up. And now it's like, okay, like Coskren shook it up. You're gonna need it. Like, let's change up maybe strategies a bit. It was even though it's a slow race, it's fun to watch.
Do you want to know? I got a text right after that race from my coach Mark Coogan, and he is feeling himself still after like the New Balance indoor marathon relay where he ran a 6:57 mile, and he said, because he had a back and forth with Grant in the comment section of that post. If people want to go check it out on Mark's Instagram. But he said, tell Grant I may come out of retirement if they run 3Ks like that. So,
I mean,
the old man is calling it slow.
Old man's calling it slow.
Actually, Mark's not even that old, actually.
Koskinen was saying in our post-race breakdown that you absolutely crushed.
Thanks.
That he said if this goes the same way, like the 5K guys are kind of throwing it to them.
Yeah.
They're just giving the dogs a bone, and he said, I'm going to be there to pick it up if they're doing the same thing.
Well, also hats off to Koskinen, like coming in as a challenger, getting 12 points, and I think I said that we were talking about it, and we was like, the race probably will be slow, more opportunity to get points. Just walk away with it's such a big opportunity to come to these meets with the amount of prize money on the line, and to be able to walk away even if he doesn't win the 5K on Sunday, 12 points, you're going to be sitting pretty by the end of this weekend.
All right, one more race as we wrap this up.
Yeah.
We closed it out with the women's 400, which was electric because the rivalry is alive between Marileidy Paulino and Salwa Eid Naser.
Yeah.
Paulino gets her lick back, and this is great.
This
was
was
a clean slate. Now it's 1-1.
1-1. This was a perfect race and a perfect kind of outcome for that rivalry. And I mean, Naser ran pretty much a similar race pattern to what she did in Kingston, where she went out explosive. She led for 300 meters, and then you just saw Paulino dig, and you saw that competitive spirit that Paulino always has, where she did not want to lose. She was like, I didn't perform as I wanted to in Kingston. I don't want to show up like that again, and she really put it all on the line.
They were running so fast as you're watching that race, and if the race had been, Sonia said this on the broadcast, if the race had been held 30 minutes earlier, because it did get a little bit windy for that one in particular, they would have run so fast.
Yeah.
But all in all, I mean, Paulino executed this one perfectly, biding her time, waiting for Naser to tie up just a little bit, and at the very end, throwing up the one. Just a little gentle reminder, who's the Olympic champ.
It's so dope. And it's interesting because Paulino, she only speaks Spanish, so we don't get to speak with her as much, right?
Well, I can.
Well, look. See?
Yeah.
Well,
Flex.
Right? But it's we don't get, in general, to hear as much from her.
Yeah.
So to see that personality come out, to see that she's in the spirit of the competition, I really do like that. And again, I just love that they almost have opposite race patterns, where Paulino isn't going out super explosive, but she's going to bide her time and hold things out. And then Naser is going out extremely, but they come together and they really throw it down at the end.
When we remember, before on the previous show, when we were kind of unpacking the underlying storylines in this one, we looked at just like how many Arkansas women were in this one,
Stacked.
and
I mean-
part of it was Alexis Holmes versus Amber Anning.
Anning, but
Holmes gets the better of her today, ends up
Yeah.
finishing third in 50-36, Anning a little further back in 50-85. Another storyline that we talked about was the pro debut of Juliette Whitaker,
Isabella Whitaker,
Isabella
yep.
Whitaker, and then she ends up running 50.38
Yeah.
for 5th place. So those were, some two good ones.
That
as
was-
well.
that was really
That's
good.
the American side.
exactly. I think someone like Alexis Holmes, I think she really wanted to continue to step things up because I feel like she got a little lost in the sauce, especially in Kingston coming off. She got silver indoors, but she wants to kind of prove that, okay, I'm one of, if not the most dominant American 400-meter runner right now. But then Isabella Whitaker, she's coming in as a challenger. She was running out of lane 1. She wanted to prove like, okay, sure, I was in the NCAA, but I can play with the pros right now.
This is professional track and field here. No high school kids, no college kids, only pros.
This is what we're doing.
So that does it, I think, for day 1 of Grand Slam track here in Miami. Vibes are high.
Yeah.
I'm excited for day 2. You
We're
ready for some
slamming.
more breakdowns?
I'm right. Chris, let me just process day 1 of the breakdowns.
He's like, I need time.
Yeah, I'm like, we're already on to day 2 of the breakdowns. Christ, when does this end?
All right, we will have this available for people in podcast form. Be sure to subscribe to the CITIUS Mag YouTube channel, the podcast. Tune in tomorrow. It gets televised on the CW, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then we've also streaming on Peacock. And yeah, I love slamming.
Slamming.
Oh, we got an update from Mac. Mac, final announcement. These track hats that you're seeing are now available
CITIUS.
on sale.
Grand Slam.
CitiusMag.com. Hit the shop tab or the merch tab. We're getting pre-orders in. I think like our guys making the hats. They've been in hot demand, so there's not that many
not
of
a
them.
lot.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you got to leg up on people to go get those hats. There they are. All right, that does it from here in Miami. Chris Chavez, Aisha Protlier, Eric Jenkins, Anderson Emerald. We'll catch you again tomorrow.